Okay, here we go. I was gonna watch this last night, but I got sleepy. So here we are, first review of the day. Leatherface, remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Origin story, supposedly. Let me be frank with you, alright? Verbatim, off the bat, I did not care for this movie at all. As a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I didn't care for the movie. If they took out certain elements and just made this some psychotic road horror movie, I think it would have been fine. But honestly, the elements from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise put into this, to me, make it worse. Because if this is supposed to be an origin story for Leatherface, this movie's called Leatherface, and we barely really see Leatherface. I mean, he's there, but you're not supposed to know who he is. And yeah, like I said, the only thing I knew about this movie going in was that they did a misdirect as to you have to figure out who Leatherface is, which if they're telling a Leatherface origin story, why would you do that? Why would you do that? It just doesn't make any sense. I also feel like they brought in some characters like Drayton and like Nubbins who have cameos in this. Nubbins more of a cameo, but the portrayal of Drayton isn't right. They portray him as this psychopath who almost forces Leatherface to commit the murders at the beginning here, and it's just like, but that's not who he was. Drayton did not like killing. He says it in the first film. He doesn't like doing it. He permits it, but he doesn't like doing it. And to force Jed to do it, it just. And there's this woman, and I'm like, who is this woman? And later she's revealed to be Verna. And there's also a sheriff in this whose last name is Hartman. And as soon as I found out that they included elements from the Texas Chainsaw 3D, I'm just like this could have been a fresh start. You could have wiped that. I like that movie. Don't get me wrong, but you could have wiped that. I don't like some of the changes they did to it, but you could have wiped that movie away, started fresh. Apparently they had planned 6 more Texas Chainsaw movies. I'm assuming some of them would be lead-ups to the original. Because this felt like it was supposed to start something. But also, if we're getting Leatherface's origin, why the hell is he in a mental institution for the years of his life that he should be learning? Like, we see at the beginning of this, he doesn't really like doing all this. So you think, okay, the origin's going to be, they're going to train him in, and he's eventually going to do it by the time he's a teenager. And no, because he's taken away by Hartman and locked in a mental facility for 10 years. And then only at the end does he become the killer we see in the movies. And it's so rushed, it makes no sense. The story here is that after his daughter is murdered, or was it an accident? She kind of fell through something, I don't know. Sheriff Hartman takes Leatherface as penance for what they have done and puts him in a mental institution. This takes place in 1955. 10 years later, in 1965, at the mental institution, there's a riot and a breakout, thanks to Verna, in which 2 of the inmates take 2 others, and then another one just sort of follows along, hostage, and becomes a road movie. All the while, Sheriff Hartman is trying to track them down, and of course, Bernays is out there as well. Let's get to the elephant in the room, the misdirection. So, there is a character in this movie named Bud. Okay, so, just gotta explain things. When you go to this mental institution, you are now called by a different name. Why? Because we have to make Leatherface's identity a surprise. So we have this big, hulking, heavyset guy named Bud who wears coveralls all the time and barely speaks, and you could see that he's mentally handicapped. He's got mental issues. This is... And obviously this is supposed to be Leatherface, right? It's too obvious. I'm sitting there and I'm like, if that's Leatherface, I'm Tina Turner. It's too big of a red herring. It's too much. It's too obvious for it to be Leatherface. And later, spoiler alert, when he gets shot in the head and dies, I'm like, yeah, okay. Because I didn't believe for a second it was him. Of course, I knew about a misdirect. I didn't know exactly the whole things about it, but I knew there was a misdirect. And so when he showed up, not talking much, I'm like, okay, he seems like he should be Leatherface. But if there's a misdirect, obviously it's not. If I didn't know about the misdirect, I don't know, maybe I still wouldn't have believed it, but it's too much. It's too obvious. And our main character, who we've been following and have some dialogue with, is Jackson is obviously Leatherface, as was revealed towards the end of the film. And he, again, there's not much of an origin though, because he talks normal, acts normal to this nurse, and it just... And I also feel like halfway through the film, they started writing things differently, or at least at a certain point. Like, the two that take them hostage, they're killed at some point. Okay, so the one girl, Clarice, is killed by the sheriff. And that leaves Ike is the other one. And he's about to do something to the nurse. So Jackson snaps, kills him, and then, like, all of a sudden, they don't want to escape anymore. Like, they were hostages. They were taken hostage by these two, and they don't want to escape anymore. He won't even let her go for some reason. And then, I don't know. Does he kill Ike? Maybe Ike kills somebody. I know he kills a cop. Maybe that's what it was. But it's just like, I don't know. His motivation changed partway through the film, towards the end here. And then they make their way. Hartman comes in, makes their way to the Sawyer farm, where Hartman and the girl are murdered because apparently getting shot in the face changes someone. And, like, the reason he kills her is because she starts making fun of Verna. And that's Jason, not Leatherface. Like, this doesn't explain anything. For as much as I shit on the beginning, it explained everything that needed to be explained. It wasn't necessary, but it still explained things. This thing explains nothing. Nothing. There's no origin here. The times that he should be, becoming Leatherface, being raised, all those years, he's in a mental institution. And then now he's almost an adult, 17, 18 years old, and he's had no experience with the family, and then somehow at the end of this, just becomes Leatherface. He's given the chainsaw, he kills Hartman, he kills the nurse, and then he puts the face on, and then lipstick, and it's just like... It's very rushed at the end, because... And I wouldn't be mad if it didn't say the origin story of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There is no origin for anything. There's no reason given why they're cannibals. They're just cannibals at the beginning of this film. There's no real reason given for why he goes nuts. He just does at the end of this. But seeming mild-mannered for most of this film. Until there was like a big turn towards the end of the film. Nothing. And I find it hard to believe that this dude... he's not like muscled or anything, but he's not fat, he's thin. in 8 years, actually, because this is 1965, 1973 was when the first one took place. Then 8 years he becomes fat. It's possible, but it's hard to believe for me, at least. I'm just saying. Getting a little weight, but they're like Leatherface is probably my weight, I think. Maybe. I weigh like 260. 260, 270 between there, but I know I need to lose weight. I'm trying. I'm on a diet. I'm trying. But yeah, this one just, and by the end of the film, I'm sitting there going, just end it. Like I'm not rooting for anyone. He kills Hartman and he has the chainsaw in front of the nurse, and Vern is yelling at him to do it, to kill her. I'm just sitting there going, do it, please do. This movie won't end until you do. Just do it, please. I didn't care about the nurse by the end of this because I just wanted the movie to end, I guess. But like I said, you take out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre elements and make it just a road movie about escaped mental patients. Yes, it's a little Devil's Rejects-like. It probably would have been a better film. This thing was shelved for a year, and I see why. This is just not... It's not a good one. And that's saying something in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Would I watch it again? No. But I would watch it again over The Next Generation. But if I was given a choice, if someone came up to me and said, "Which one do you want to watch?" I said, "Hey, let's watch a horror movie. I only got these two. Which one do you want to watch?" I'm picking this one because I don't want to watch this. So, yeah. So the best that I could say when it comes to Leatherface is just not worth your time. In my opinion. This is all my opinions, of course. Don't ever get mad, but it's just not worth your time. Meh. The best Texas Chainsaw film since the original. Bullshit. Right. So I'm finished with this franchise. I gotta do a ranking, but I'm basically finished, right? So what are your thoughts on Leatherface? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.